Hi everyone, back with me. You probably know me by now. And what am I going to do here? Well, I'm going to have another go at the tactics trainer on chess.com. And I've been reading the feedback on my YouTube channel, probably why you're here. And in this one, I'm going to try to make it a little bit more interactive. So I'm not going to time myself. Instead, I'm going to try to solve the puzzle first myself, and then I'm going to go through it and tell you my thoughts. So I'm going to try to help you guys know what I'm thinking so you can try to think along the same lines. So hopefully improve your tactical vision as well. Something like that. I mean, I might give you a bit more time at the start as well so you can try to solve the puzzle. But basically, I'm going to talk you through the process. So an empty board at the moment. Let's start with the first puzzle. So far, I have 100%. Can I keep it 100%? Well, I'm not going to rush this time. So let's get cracking, shall we? Okay, here we go. And F4 just been played. And now it is black to move. And F4 looks like a mistake. There's two candidate moves here. That's the first thing I can see. So I'm going to work you through actually my thinking as we go along. Now, the first thing I can see is the rook is lined up against the king. I can't do highlights because it's the problem solver. So I want to move the bishop to pin this bishop. Now, bishop takes pawn looks natural. That looks like a natural move because I win a pawn and I'm threatening to win the bishop on e3. But whenever we do anything in chess, we always have to think of our opponent's best defense. We have to assume he's going to play the best move. And if I play bishop takes f4, I'm attacking the bishop with two pieces, the bishop and the rook. But it seems to me that white would be able to go rook b3 and defend that with two pieces. So I win a pawn, but maybe not the game. And I'm now thinking, if I play bishop d4 instead, hope this is right. Let's see. Okay, yeah, if I play bishop d4 instead, it looks like the right move. If my opponent had gone for rook to b3 there as a defense, I would have been able to play bishop takes knight, winning a whole piece. So I had those two candidate moves. I just worked out which was the best one, and it seems like I found the right solution. So here, well, there are a couple of moves, aren't there? Which one do I play? Do I go rook takes, check, or do I play bishop takes? So if I go bishop takes, my opponent has a check here with the knight. Okay, not as simple as I thought actually. This is a good response. And if I go rook takes check, he goes king d2. Okay, but then maybe this knight is in trouble. Okay, it's not over yet. So bishop takes is a possibility, but then knight check. So I'm assuming this one is the right move. And yeah, I mean, that puzzle I'm not convinced was the best one here, because even in this position, what happens if white plays king d2 there? Is it really all over? I mean, okay, I can go king c7 trying to trap the knight, but it's not maybe the best one. Let's move on. Okay, right, so next position. Oh, I love my bishops here. Look at those lovely bishops. Okay, well, I can see there's going to be a rook h1 checkmate. Checkmate in 1, 2, 3, 4 moves by force. And again, when you're looking at these kind of positions and normal positions in your games, you've got to work out what your main assets are and what you're trying to threaten. Okay, the bishops and the rook here. And I always start by looking for the most forcing moves. These are the moves you should look at first. So only look at one move. So obviously, rook takes pawn check is the first move you should look at. And then you can checkmate using checks. First of all, you have to get rid of the pawn cover here to open up the bishops. And you can do a yo-yo technique. This one should be quite easy. Every move is a check. So look for a check, look for another check, keep checking that king. You want to clear these pawns, so the last move is rook h1. And I think this is quite easy to see that we can go rook takes h2 check. And now this is forced. It makes it easier to calculate these things when your opponent only has one option. And again, really here, there's only one natural move. You should be looking for the most forcing moves, the checks again. This move here is the most forcing move because it forces the king to this square. Now, there may be other ways to checkmate here, but you have to remember that white in some positions can play c6, blocking the bishop. So we should go for a double check here, because that is really forcing. And now the rook comes back to h2 check. We can see we've got rid of the g2 pawn. So rook comes there, and that is checkmate. Now let me just add another little window here so you can see what's going on with the stats as we go through it. So I'll leave that little window over there, and we'll move on to the next one. So let's move on. Okay. So tactic number 3. Wow. Oh, I thought it was white to move there. Okay. So black has just castled here, and now I expect this is a bit trickier, because it's a little bit of a trick, isn't it? Because if we play queen takes bishop, which is the natural move, then rook to e8 is pinning our queen and rook. So for example, queen takes bishop, rook e8, and we've got a major problem with the back rank. So I'm wondering here, what could be the answer? This seems like a strange puzzle, but I want to keep my 100%. Now if I go check, does that help? Well, I'm not sure. I mean, let's have a look at this queen takes bishop again. Oh, I can go queen takes bishop. Aha! And if rook e8, there is a way to cover my rook on e1. Queen to b4. So again, by doing this, I'm using the process of elimination. I talked about this in the first video. And before I look at any other possibilities, you've got to look at the most critical move in the position first and calculate only that move as deeply as you can. And clearly, the most critical move is queen takes bishop. And now I only just saw that in this position, you've got to look as far as you can, that I can save my rook by going queen to b4. And obviously this position is going to be a piece up for white. So there it is. That shows the process of elimination in action. Don't look at various moves, look at the most critical move first. Let's move on. Okay, so now it looks like we are white again. Black has just gone knight to this square, and that is forking our two rooks here. This seems to be a little bit tougher. So what moves do we have here? Okay, I can see the solution straight away. Again, when you get better at chess, the patterns in games will come much more natural, so you know what to look for. And the things you should be looking for here, okay, he's played knight c2, so he's threatening your rooks. We know that. But what is weak about black's position? So try to notice, and you'll speed this up as you get better, the weaknesses in his position. Well, first of all, I can see the queen is lined up against his king. So that's the first alarm bell that goes in my head. So next I think, right, well, can I attack c7? No, I can't, because really the bishop's always defending this. So there's no attack on c7. So that's not the weakness, but the weakness may well be this bishop here. Because if I can threaten the bishop, it's not actually defended by the pawn. So can I play a move here, trying to take advantage of my active queen, and also actually trap this knight? The knight is defended by the queen at the moment, but can I break the defense of the queen and the knight? So I can basically threaten two things with one move. I can threaten the bishop and I can threaten the knight. There is a way of doing this. So again, it's just seeing the critical things in this structure. Knight to e4 does both of those things, because I was threatening knight takes d6, big check, winning the queen. He's got out of that threat, but now I can simply win the knight there, so I can win a piece. So again, fairly straightforward, I think. Okay, this looks like a crazy position. Right, this is more fun, isn't it? This looks like a position I can have in one of my own games. So black has gone queen takes queen, and obviously Harry, look at Harry. Harry's done a great job. God, I mean, this should be the easiest puzzle in the world to solve. What do we do here? Well, we don't. First thing I notice is if I take the queen back, that's okay, but then my opponent can take the pawn here, so Harry is not doing a great job. I think this is a trick question, because it's really a decision. Do I take on h7 check or do I take on f7 check? Now, there's a major problem if I take on f7 with check. His queen can go queen takes f7, and I will lose the game. Unless there's a bishop takes h7 check there, king h8, bishop h6 check, but he has bishop h6 there. It doesn't look like there's any checkmate. So therefore, I'm assuming I should just go pawn takes h7, and I've won a pawn with check, and now just simply take the queen. Very simple. We're just going for, we don't always have to checkmate with puzzles. We need to get the maximum material. So there we go. All good at the moment. And let's see if we can get something that's really going to challenge us. Okay, so again, I'm diving into the position. I'm looking at the major assets of my position, and I can see immediately the queen on g6, very good piece near his king. The other asset, my bishop here. This bishop here, great piece there, striking across the position. So if I can open up this bishop, it's going to be very close to checkmate. So the first move I'm considering now is, again, a forcing move. So I'm looking for checks, and I'm looking ways to open up the bishop. So I'm looking at rook to f4 check here. This is very interesting. Rook here. Okay, I'm not going to play it, because that is a check, and I'm hoping he will go pawn takes rook, because then I open up the bishop. Remember, I'm opening up my assets and going queen takes here. So this is my first move. I'm not looking at other options. Stick with one move, because you'll confuse yourself otherwise. But if I go rook f4 check, he will play knight takes rook. Knight takes rook. And then do I have a good move there? Well, I've opened up my bishop, so I can't see a move because the knight also attacks my queen. I could go pawn takes knight, but then my opponent has a move. It's not a forcing move. So I'm going off the idea now of this rook f4 check. So I'm going to look for other options. What else can I do here? Okay, well, there's rook g4. Rook g4 is a similar idea. It's less forcing because rook f4 was a check, but rook g4 looks a very good move because I threaten two things. Again, I've noticed the weakness really in his position is g7. So rook g4 threatens queen g7 checkmate and bishop takes knight. And he can't defend the pawn and the knight, so that should be winning. Before I play the move, let's just double check there's not anything stronger. I don't think so. Is there anything stronger? Well, the queen, if it checks, his king runs away. So no, I'm going to leave my queen there. This rook, can it come to c7? No, there's too many pieces defending c7. The bishop on g2, can it come in the game? I don't think so. So it looks to me like this must be the correct move. And he's had to defend this square. And now I imagine that simply bishop takes here is the correct move. And even in this position, next move I could be threatening the very nice queen f6 check. Pawn takes queen, rook g8 checkmate. That's a nice little finish there. Okay, these have been pretty easy so far. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so queen takes b2. Black has just grabbed the pawn. And again, I notice straight away I have three pieces attacking. The knight, the queen, the bishop. The bishop striking towards his king. The knight. A knight on f5 is an excellent square for a knight. This knight here, perfect square when you're trying to attack your opponent's castle king. So how do I get these things working? Well, another thing I noticed, the rook on d1 is good. This piece here could be overloaded. This is the tactic, an overload tactic. There's no immediate checkmate here, because if I play a move like queen to one of these two squares, it's a bit slow. It's not the most forcing idea. This would be my first fault, threatening checkmate, but then black can just take my knight. So again, we should be looking for the most forcing moves, checks and captures. If I play a check like knight takes h6 check, well, he goes pawn takes knight, and I don't see a way to checkmate. Queen e4 threatens checkmate, but it's not a forcing move. So in that position, knight f6 defends h7, attacks my queen. So a more forcing move, I think, at the moment I'm attacking the knight with two pieces, the rook and queen, but I have a check here. So I think at the moment this check doesn't work. It's defended by the knight, so we had to swap the order about and play rook takes knight first. And now we've got the e7 square free, so our knight can hop into e7, we take on d5, and we have won a piece there. Okay, right, still pretty simple. We'll play a couple more, see if they get harder. Okay, so here it is indeed. Okay, white to play. Now, the first move that springs to mind is rook takes f6. Because my rooks look very dangerous, but they need to open up. They need to open up in order to break through. Now, knight takes f6 is a check. It does look good, but let's calculate first knight takes f6. So the two moves that spring to mind here are knight takes f6 or rook takes. So let's look at them one at a time, and that's what you should do. So knight takes f6 check. Before I play the move, he really has to go bishop takes knight, and then we go rook takes bishop. But then he can go queen takes queen. And is the combination over there? Not quite, because I can go rook to f8 check. So try to keep following this. He can go king e7, and then I can go my other rook to f7 check, but he goes king to e6, and he will be a queen up. I'll be losing that one. So I don't like knight to f6. I'm just going to double check that. Bishop takes, rook takes, queen, all quite forcing. I don't have enough material. So now I'm going to look at rook takes. So rook takes pawn. He has two key moves there. Either queen takes queen or bishop takes rook. So after rook takes pawn, let's look at queen takes queen first and try to work out what's happening there. And it's different to the last position because my knight is still on the board. Very good attacking piece. So I think I should be able to force checkmate there with rook e7 check. Sorry, rook e6 check. Even rook here check is checkmate in one move, isn't it? Even better. So rook takes pawn. Process of elimination. If he goes queen takes queen, I go rook f8 checkmate. So now I eliminate that from my thoughts. I double checked it. I made sure it's okay. This is what you should be doing in your games. So before I play rook takes f6, let's have a look at bishop takes rook. What's happening there? Well, I can see straight away. If he goes bishop takes rook, I can go knight takes bishop check. If he goes queen takes knight, I win his queen. If he goes... so rook takes here, bishop takes, knight takes here, check. If he moves his king, then I can simply go queen takes queen, check. He takes my queen back. My knight on f6 can win the rook. I'm a piece up. I'm going to win the game. I'm not even going to look to see if there's a better move because I've seen one way to win and that's good enough for me. Don't overcomplicate things. You don't need to. Keep things simple. And this is the simple solution. Okay, let's try a couple more and see if we can get anything a bit more challenging here. Rook to f6 now played from black. So, okay. Now, this is pinned the rook. What are the key moves here? Well, I could play rook takes c7 check. That is a check and a capture. But what do I do after bishop to this square? Bishop to f7. He has a lot of pieces defending his king. So unless I can see a good move after rook takes c7 check, bishop f7, then I might not go for this because queen g5 check, let's keep going, we've got to calculate this as far as we can, is met by rook to g6. And after rook check, bishop f7, if I ever give up the rook, I've only got a queen left, it's not going to work. So I could go rook takes check, bishop e6, rook c6, threatening to capture there. That looks quite strong, doesn't it? That looks very strong. Aha, now I see the point of this puzzle because there's two candidate moves. I'm also looking at rook c6 here. I'm looking at the key point to notice here is the pin on the rook. But if I go rook, what's the difference between rook c6 and rook c7? And we've worked this out already. If I go rook c6 here, threatening queen takes rook, let's think of our opponent's best defense. Well, he has no checks. Our king is safe, so we can rule out any counterattack. Can he guard the rook? Yes, he can. He can go queen f8. So if I play this first, he now blocks, and now I go rook c6. He can't go queen f8, so he has to block, but now I simply take here, and we get a winning position. Okay, we'll try one more, quite simple here, and then I'm going to play some blitz. Okay, one more. I'll talk you through my thought process with the next one. Okay, Well, here we go. Rook takes d3 is being played. Looks like black has just done a counter-attack. I think this is quite simple here. We look for the most forcing moves. What's the first move that we should be thinking of? Well, it is winning the queen. So bishop takes queen is, let's not think of anything else. What does black have to play after bishop takes queen? He has to play rook takes queen, but then we have bishop takes g7, winning the rook in the corner. So I'm not even going to bother calculating anything else. Very simple. Here, we're going to win the rook there. We're being exchange up. So quite simple. Well, they've been quite easy today, haven't they? I have to admit. Okay, another puzzle. Rook to d7. And this is the last one we're going to do today. And okay, this is a bit trickier. And I haven't solved it yet. So I'm looking at rook takes d7 first. Because it's a capture. But then he plays rook takes d7 in that position. And I have a problem with my back rank. If I swap all the rooks off, he will be absolutely fine. So I don't see how rook takes d7 is working. So I'm now going to look at other possibilities in this position. Do I have any checks? No. So this is a bit trickier, this one. I haven't solved it still yet. Maybe you're doing better than me here. I want to keep my 100% record. Okay. Interesting. Requires a little bit of thought. I mean, I could try aiming to win this a6 pawn somehow, but if I go queen takes a6, he has rook takes d2, and if I go rook takes d2, rook c1 is going to be a back rank. So queen takes a6, rook takes d2. Is there an intermezzo move? I'm looking for a check there. c4 with the queen. No, I can't go there because his rook controls it. Queen e6. No, he controls that. So I can't see that working either. Wow, this one's got me a little bit stumped. Okay, a little bit stumped here. So what am I missing? Obviously, it's going to jump out of me, as most things do. They jump out of you very naturally, and you think, oh, I should have got that, but can't see it at this moment. Okay, that's got me a bit stumped here. I think I see the key thing. Wow, it's actually a very simple move. Now, the key thing I'm now looking at, I've ruled out the forcing moves. As you can see, my thought process was rook takes d7. I can't see that working, so I've eliminated it. You then see me try to work out queen takes a6. I've eliminated that. So I've looked at all the forcing moves I can see. And now I'm thinking, what is the problem with black's position? Well, there is this diagonal here. And his queen is potentially pinned to the rook. So if I play queen a4, I was pinning the rook to the queen. And if he'd have gone rook takes d2, queen e8 would have been check. Very important, otherwise he back ranks me. So he's tried rook here, but now the next move should be very simple. We just go here. It's very important, again, that when he takes a rook, we take with check. So there we go. All right, I'm going to leave it at that for now because I'm getting a bit itchy for some blitz. Tell me what you think of that. Do you prefer me doing it that way, or do you prefer me doing it timed? Obviously, this is one of the first times I've tried this kind of video. I'm trying to help you out, get you thinking like I think. Don't know if it's good or not. Let me know what you think. Please like, please subscribe. Tell your friends about this channel. Put it on Reddit. Put whatever you can to help me out. Help me out, guys. And tell me what you want me to do, because I listen to you guys. I want to improve this channel. I love playing Blitz. That's more fun. Obviously, my DVDs on GingerGM, the serious stuff. You can always buy one of them to support the channel if you want to. And also, you don't even have to donate then. You get something in return. Something great, I hope. But for now, that's my little tactics trainer. We'll leave it on 100%. I'm gonna catch up Nakamura. I'm gonna be #1 at tactics one day. Cheers for now. Until next time. Goodbye.